Anyways, what are the weirdest things you've seen people using all the bitter for?
I don't know about weird. Honestly, bitters have such a wide range of uses that people don't think about, but are totally uh, valid ways to use bitters. My mom is obsessed with our New Orleans bitters and vanilla ice cream.
Mm,
She will not eat vanilla ice cream anymore without adding a splash of New Orleans bitters on top of it.
I'll have to try it
um
then.
It'll work with any of them, and that's not just our bitters. That's been a pretty classic kind of culinary go-to for bitters for a while, is Angostura on vanilla ice cream,
Mm,
Peychaud's, or New Orleans bitters. Any of them will work. It's an interesting way to add a ton of flavor to an otherwise kind of neutral palette of vanilla ice cream, without necessarily adding sugar or anything, or even additional calories to it. You're just adding bitters. Coffee is another really
mm,
great use for bitters, kind of for the same reason. Especially if you enjoy black coffee, and you might want a little bit of flavor, but you don't want to add like a pump or two of sugary syrup.
mhm.
Bitters are a great way to add just a little punch of flavor. um and the you're not really adding any bitterness to it, because coffee is already so bitter on its own that it's the amount you're adding, 2-3 milliliters of bitters. You're not adding enough to like significantly make your coffee any more bitter than it already is.
Mhm.
But those spices, depending on what flavor of bitters you use, our aromatic bitters work really well. All those warm spices like cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, ginger, those all work really well with the flavor of coffee. And our orange bitters in particular have been surprising in black coffee. The orange bitters go really, really nicely. They really brighten up the coffee, like especially with a lighter coffee. It really brightens it and adds a really interesting pop of citrus flavor, and the spice from the cardamom and coriander really add a really interesting dimension to black coffee.
Mm.
I'm definitely gonna
Um,
try. I'm definitely gonna try the New Orleans, or the one that has this more warming spices in it.
mhm.
Because every morning I add just plain cinnamon to my coffee. That's just now I'm gonna
Yeah.
have a bottle of bitters next to my
No, it's
coffee
perfect.
station.
Yeah, you're getting the same, you're getting the same spice from cinnamon. Plus,
Mhm.
it's a great way to start your day. You're starting with the digestive benefit of bitters, and adding all of those great functional ingredients. We talked about adaptogens earlier, and I personally, I know that I said that I think it's silly to say that adaptogenic spirits will give you any kind of buzz, because they if when we use the term buzz, we're comparing it to alcohol, right? That's the buzz that most people know. And the fact is, like, a glass of wine or a glass of beer next to a shot of some adaptogenic spirit is not going to make you feel the same way. Um, However, there's absolutely a power and a benefit to plants. Adaptogens like holy basil, and and mushrooms, and all these different plants that are ashwagandha, that are super super good for us, and really can help our bodies regulate stress. The ingredients that we use in our bitters that are typical bittering agents, they're very common ingredients to use in bitters, because obviously they have a bitter flavor. We've really leaned into that, and not only went with gentian root, which is a super common bitter root,
Mhm.
but have used a pretty wide range of bittering agents, including dandelion and burdock, and yellow dock root, and
It's
schisandra
on there.
berry, and a number of other ingredients that are great for our gut, our digestion, our liver, and are a great way to start your day. So adding a couple dashes of bitters to your coffee is like not only a fun way to flavor it, but also it's a great way to just kind of start your digestion going in the morning.
Interesting. Yeah, um, what I think of when I think of dandelion root, I was studying a survival guide, like a post-apocalyptic survival guide, and dandelion root was a coffee alternative. So go out, pick some dandelion root, microwave it to dry it out, grind it
Mhm.
up, and it makes like a really good tasty beverage. Like,
Dandelion root is, and dandelion's one that is often roasted. You dry it and roast it, which would be great for coffee flavor. Dandelion and chicory combined make a really nice coffee alternative. Chicory has a really strong coffee flavor on its own, kind of to begin with. And then combining it with the earthiness of dandelion root and the bitterness of dandelion root really does make a satisfying coffee alternative.